All right, we are now at 4, the consent agenda.
Yeah.
Director Rainbow.
I would like to pull 4.2.1 and 4.2.5, please.
Okay, we will add those down to section 10 for discussion.
10.4 and 10.5.
Thank you.
So with those 2 items pulled, is there anything else to pull from the consent?
Consent agenda.
Thank you. Moved by Director Richmond, seconded by Director Crompton. All in favor, any opposed, motion carries. Any business arising from the minutes? All right.
Sorry, we have one.
Go ahead, Angie.
I just have a note on business arising from the minutes. Are we there? Business arising from the minutes?
Floor is yours.
On 11.4, has the contribution agreement been developed? I would like to see it. I'm catching up to my own notes here.
Sorry, you would like to see the contribution agreement?
Yeah, in fact, yes, I would. We can leave it at that.
Which one is this?
I think we might be going back to the Lillooet Learns and the Hub. And this is coming out of, you know what, I can bring this up at the EAD. That's okay, I can bring it up at the EAD, because we'll be reviewing those minutes then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're at recommendations from the Area Directors Committee, recommendations of March 11th, 6.1.1, the Canada Community Building Fund, Community Works Fund, project funding request.
I'll move that.
Okay. And this is for $6,000 from the Divine Water Service. Moved by Director Mack, seconded by Director Stoner. Questions or comments from anyone? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Okay, go ahead.
When we make decisions like this within an area, do we consider what amount of money has been contributed to each area within that electoral area? So I'm just thinking, we've invested X in Goldbridge water, and does that then mean that when Braylorn comes to the table, we are keeping that in mind? Or are these sort of one-off decisions that aren't connected to previous spending or future spending?
Through the chair, we don't really track like total allocation per community and try and balance it that way. It's more based on needs and products identified by the UES department.
Okay, so UES will say Divine is mission critical. That's what the application is going to be for, and in 5 years, Braylorn will have to go after it.
No, but Braylorn has their own community works funds.
Just choosing an example.
Oh,
These
sorry,
are
yeah.
community works funds, right?
Yeah,
So these are ones that are allocated to area C. So they're gonna be
Sorry,
spent in area C.
I didn't mean, bad example. Divine versus Wedge, I'm saying. So, and that's also a bad example because Wedge is like
It's not
brand
in
new.
area C.
Wedge is in area
Which is in
C.
area C.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, yeah.
So I'm just trying to think of
Yeah.
2 places in area C. I was forgetting that Braylorn is in area A. Let's do Braylorn Goldbridge. The answer to the question is Braylorn Goldbridge, it's needs related. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? I'll call the question. All in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And I will move the next one too.
Okay, this is a draft EAD services budget recommendation for approval.
Second.
No, there's the two that's, did we do the two that's? There was 26,000 for the Divine Waters,
Oh, sorry, I
and
treated
then
that
there's
as one motion.
55,000.
Okay. Well, so we're still on 6.1.1.
Yeah,
The second that moved by Director Mack, seconded by Director Rainbow. Comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
thank you.
I'll move 6.1.2.
Okay. Great, that all these budgets be approved as presented. Moved by Director Rainbow, seconded by Director Mack. Comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the only comment I would make is I appreciate the sort of consultation, advice and everything we had from finance, and we had a good process to get to this point.
6.1.3,
I would like to move that.
moved by Director Demare. Seconded by Director. Comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're now at recommendations from Evis from March 13th. 6.2.1.
Okay, otherwise you can just move ahead with that
Perfect.
for the next two items.
Okay, so we do have Ms. Reed here to answer questions if anyone's got them on these items. This is regarding a one-time funding from Pemberton Lions Activity Society. Would someone like to move that? Moved by Director Mack, seconded by Director Richmond. Comments or questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. And a review of the Pemberton District Initiative Funding Policy. Let's move that. Director Richmond, second by Director Mack. Comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Is there a second that?
So move it together.
Or it's all together?
Yeah, it's all there. 6.2.3, the draft Pevis Services Budget.
Moved.
The first that the following budgets be approved by Director Richmond, second by Director Mack. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries, and that the following budget be approved with an amendment to the tax requisition to be a $10,000 increase over 2024 with a cost center 1705 for search and rescue. Moved by Director Mack, seconded by Director Herford. Comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We're on 7.1. An amendment to the SLRD Divine Transfer Station Fees and Charges Regulation Bylaw. This is two different that. One is for first, second, and third reading. As presented. Moved by Director Mack, seconded by Director Herford. Comments?
We have one. I just have one comment. Thanks, Chair Ford. It's just, I don't think that we should charge for, disposal of invasive species. And I'll just make that comment now. I see there's a fee for deposit of invasive species, and I don't agree with that.
Okay, thank you for making your comment known. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Now we're on to the
And now we're on
second.
to the second that, which is to be adopted.
I'll move that.
Moved by Director Max,
Second.
seconded by Director Rainbow. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Seven point two, which is an amendment to the SLRD Gold Bridge Transfer Station Fees and Charges Regulations Bylaw for first, second, and third reading.
I'll make that motion, and I'd like to make a comment.
Yep, go ahead, Director Demare.
The comment is. The taxpayers there were allowed 2 bags for free. this changed to one bag. And a lot of these minor increases. What is the plan for putting waste out in the neighborhoods? So in other words, illegal dumping. Is there gonna be a plan for these increases related to illegal dumping in the electoral areas?
I have Mary Lou here to answer that question.
Hi, through the chair, thank you for that question. In regards to illegal dumping, the illegal dumping strategy that was done in, if I recall correctly, 2020, there's no link between increased tipping fees and illegal dumping. What we found is that people who tend to dump illegally, they will continue to do it. The people who are doing the right thing, they will continue to do it. The rationale behind bringing the 2 bags down to 1 bag, the 2 bags was back in 2005 when we didn't have as much programs available through the province as we have right now. So I believe that even like a bigger family that do all the recycling properly, 1 bag a week for free should be more than sufficient. It is the only facility at the SLRD with that allowed. And for the burn pile, or I shouldn't call it the burn pile, the wood pile at the garbage transfer station, we had a pilot program in place in 2024. The equipment broke, but we are in conversation right now and are hoping to move forward in April of 2025. So we'll bring the chipper and we'll be able to chip it instead of burning. It is a pilot project, so we will have to review it when it's done. It is more costly for sure than burning. But we thought that back in 2024, having the equipment on site already was a good opportunity for the SLRD to try go on a different direction. Sorry.
Great, yeah, thank you. You are correct. We do everything with organics and our recycling. And it's about a bag every 2 to 3 weeks. The issue is when the non-resident property owners come, they usually come with a lot of guests. And they'll have quite a bit more garbage to put away. So somehow we need to kind of monitor the illegal dumping, whether it's our staff member that is in the area or myself or other community members. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Director Demare moved the motion. I'll ask for someone to second it, please. Seconded by Director Stoner. Further comments?
Just a comment from Area B, yeah, I also, I remember hearing from Alan McEwen with the Pemberton Wildlife Association in about 2018. What was the SLRD doing about the illegal dumping? And I think we really have to take it as part of our responsibility at some point in the future. And it's an electoral area issue. We do have a small budget for it, but I just see the budget getting carried forward every year with no action. And I just would like that to be on some work plan at some point. Thank you.
Director Butt?
Just a comment on that. It's very much a complaint based. So if there is any illegal dumping, we need to know about it, and we obviously can't scour every inch of SRD, but if we do hear about stuff, we do deal with it, and many times we do it and we've done stuff in Area D using our contractors who are already out there. So they should come into us and we'll deal with them.
Thank you.
But
A number of years ago, we put up signs going into I'll say logging roads, Forest Service roads throughout the area. no dumping, blah, blah, blah. Fortunately, none of those signs have ever been molested. They're all still there, which is kind of interesting. So people are paying attention to them. And by having that free metal bin at the Divine Station, I mean, that thing just takes a lot of material on a monthly basis. I mean, we have hauled tons and tons of material out of that corridor. So there are ways to do this, and especially with the metal, we actually get paid to bring the metal in, right? So it offsets the cost of the bin quite dramatically. So that's a good thing. And maybe think about that in other areas.
Go ahead, Director Demare. You need to unmute.
There were two signs that were put up in specific areas in area A with concrete and steel, and they were both stolen and removed. So, but I would like the idea and brought it back again. We've got a few specific areas where people are dumping waste.
Okay,
We need to vote.
I've got a map just to get rid of.
Thank you. I'm supportive of this. I do, a couple things do jump out at me for a future. I don't think they're mission critical here. Is every time I see something that is listed as free, it doesn't really represent who's bearing the cost of delivering that service, because the service is not free to deliver. And whether that's, so I look at this, whether it's the one bag, this is included in your taxation support, say, which is my understanding of how that's covered, which is fine because it's just those taxpayers. So I don't disagree with what's being accomplished, but I do think we need to be really careful in how we deliver this, because the things that are no charge, why? Is it because there's a provincial program that actually pays for that? Because this is when we get into the space of discussing legal dumping, which is a very important issue, we have a responsibility to make sure that we collect enough fees to cover the service that we're delivering. And that has to be front and center. And then that other piece is adjacent to this, but it's separate. And I think that a piece of this is showing that it does cost to dispose of used motor oil, for instance, which is on the sheet is at no charge. And that is what, there is no charge, but who's covering it? And that could be in a communication piece going forward. I don't think it needs to be that level of detail in what we're seeing here, but I do think that it's incredibly important that folks understand the great length that we go to ensure that there is a program that covers the expense when there is a no charge, or that it's coming through taxation or some other way, not just that we're deciding not to charge for that, because that's not the case. So I think that's a comms piece, but important. But I'm voting in support, but I want to make sure I had those comments in.
Can I just follow up on that? I fully support what I was saying there. I'm forever in my communities reminding people that when we have a bin that says glass only and they chuck cardboard in there, boxes and stuff like that, they are actually paying for that. When we have to remediate that, they pay. So if we decided to take some sort of regional district approach in terms of communications, that I'd be really interested in seeing that. So I don't have to do it all the time.
okay. Staff have heard the comments. We are voting on first, second, and third reading of this bylaw. Call the question, all in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. And that this bylaw be adopted. Moved by Director Stoner, second by Director Herford. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 7.3, fire services review funding information to the financial plan bylaw. We have, well,
Thank you, Chair. Do the shortened version of my elevator pitch here is, so we've put a focused effort into reviewing our operations, structure and function of our fire services across the region over the past decade or so. We now have a clear understanding of what needs to be done to improve. So the final suggested step involves engaging external expertise to help and support the implementation of the recommendations that have been provided thus far in the 2024 Fire Services Review, and to do so in a timely manner is important. Due to the complexity and potential sensitivity of certain matters in this regard, a one-year timeframe is recommended to facilitate ongoing board engagement and direction setting, with the program potentially extending into 2026. This work attempts to conclude the 2024 Fire Services Review project. And I'll pause there. Thank you, Chair.
Questions? Go ahead, Director Richmond.
What cost center does that come out of?
Seventeen 61 emergency.
Thank you, Suzanne.
We'll need the recommendation.
I'm gonna go for questions.
Sure.
First. Director Herford, go ahead.
Just, thank you. In the report, it says under phase 2, direct community engagement, pending board approval. Then it had a budget, but it said tentative beside it. I just wondered, what is that tentative amount, or is it, does that just reflect pending board approval? And is this that approval, or is it a future approval? So
Future approval, and thank you through the chair. Future approval, I think the phase 1 will determine for us what we need to know, and will then inform phase 2. So I think the depth and complexity that we embark upon in terms of suggested board policies and policy reform are yet to be determined. I think in terms of, and I'll just add real quick, is in terms of fire services reforms, is it could be this big or it can be this big. So we'll have to really, I think I'm gonna try to narrow it down with emphasis, I think, on our rural fire services to help them.
Can I add that? In terms of the project, there's 2 phases. Really, phase 2 and the amount of work that will be required in phase 2 is dependent on decisions that the board will be making. So right now, we anticipate, like, our anticipation is that phase 2 will be approximately $40,000, but it could be significantly less if we get direction to the board saying we're happy with the way things are, or if there's foundational changes that require some work and intensive engagement that could change in the budget.
I have a question from Director Demare in Lillooet.
Yes, thank you. In phase 1, how much engagement is there gonna be with various fire brigades?
Through the chair, phase 1 doesn't encompass direct engagements. The focus of phase 1 is on the board level policies determining what the goalposts are for fire services delivery and what standards we're striving towards, the bronze, silver, gold medal standard. The second piece is the construction of the engagement strategy. And then the notion is that when we roll into phase 2, is that then we do some initial small scale community engagements as we see fit, with the intent of that process then thereby informing the suggested policy decisions and the community engagement strategy itself.